My talk today is about bending reality as posted. This presentation is about how to bend reality using the higher degree esoteric knowledge. The top practitioners know how to bend reality because they understand that reality is not fixed, but rather is constantly being molded by the way your mind interprets it. The top practitioners know that time is a construct that can be bent, stretched, even collapsed. They know how to collapse time by aligning their energy with the version of the future that they want to experience. Top practitioners also understand that the universe is always communicating with them and that they are always in the right place at the right time. In short, top practitioners know that reality is not something that happens to you, but rather it is something that happens, something that you create. Now, there's a rumor that this is a Masonic practice that goes beyond the 33rd degree, but I do not operate in a world of rumors, just so you know. Bending reality isn't about theory or philosophy. It's about fundamentally altering how the universe responds to you. Humanity as we know it has been living by a set of rules that are designed to keep you aligned with the rest of the world. But those who know that these rules are malleable because reality is far more flexible than you think. So the first key to bending reality is recognizing how much power is stored in your perception. Most people experience perception. I'm sorry. Most people experience the world objectively. They wake up, go through their day, and assume that everything that they see and feel is just how they're supposed to be. This is what you call having a passive perception. But perception is not passive, it's active, and it filters and shapes every one of our experiences. The reality that we experience is not fixed, it's constantly being molded by the way that your mind interprets it. This is why people get the same exact responses from me when they ask me, how was your day? My day is actively pursued. I dictate the terms of my day. I don't allow external forces to determine my day unless something overwhelming occurs to something near and dear to my heart. Moving on though. So your perception is a lens, and this lens can either expand or limit your world. Successful mind practitioners see the world through a vastly different lens than the average person. Unlike the average person, they don't just see what's in front of them. They see possibilities, probabilities, and potential outcomes when looking at things in front of them. In other words, they don't react to the world, they shape it. So the first layer of bending reality is that you're not responding to a world that's already been created. You're bending it as you go, shaping it to form a new reality. Some may ask, how is this so? This is so because every thought, every belief, every assumption you hold is the building block of the reality that you live in. Here's where it goes from theory to practice. If you want to start bending reality, you have to stop thinking of your mind as a receiver of information and start seeing it as a projector. Your thoughts are not internal dialogue that you have within yourself. They are blueprints that get projected onto the screen of your reality. Proverbs 23:7 in the Holy Scripture states, in part, as a man thinketh, so is he. A master practitioner of this knows that reality bends to the most persistent and dominant thoughts in their mind. This leads directly into beliefs. Beliefs are the foundation upon which your perception operates. Laymen tend to think that beliefs are reactions to the world around them, but in reality, beliefs are the architects of the world that you see. Change your beliefs, and the world around you changes. Practitioners also know that limits are self-imposed. This is why we do not bring limiting conversations into our belief systems. Beliefs are not passive, they are active forces shaping every interaction, every opportunity, and every outcome. Ordinary people are led to believe that challenges in their lives are external obstacles that they have to overcome. But higher degree teaching, esoteric teaching, teaches you that the challenge was not external at all, but rather a reflection of an internal limitation. It is something in your belief system that needed to be addressed. When you shift internally, the internal obstacle magically dissolves. Why is this? Because every problem is a signal that is pointing you to a belief that needs to be upgraded or discarded. Here's the real breakthrough. Once you realize that your beliefs are the foundation of your reality, you realize that you can change them. Because of this, top practitioners are constantly upgrading their thoughts like software, so to speak. They don't cling to outdated beliefs just because they've held them for years. Case in point, how many of us are clinging to the belief that horse and buggy is the way to go as far as transportation is concerned? None of us. So this was at one time a very popular held belief that we changed within our constructs. Laymen tend to hold on to old beliefs like their lives depend on them. However, your life doesn't depend on your beliefs. Your reality does. Now let's move on to the next section of identity as it relates to bending reality. Your identity is the strongest force shaping your life. Who you believe you are creates the boundaries of what's possible to you. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, not technologically inclined, is just the average, you see yourself as just the average Joe, then this will be your reality. But if you see yourself as someone who creates, someone who bends their reality to their will, then that's exactly what will happen. Identity is not static, it's fluid. And master practitioners are masters at shifting their reality to match the reality that they want to create. They don't want, they don't wait for external proof before before they believed in their new identity. They step into it first, and the external reality follows. Most people wait for evidence before they believe something about themselves. Master practitioners know that the evidence only comes after the belief has been firmly established. You have to believe in the version of yourself that already has what you want, and then your reality will shape itself to match that belief. This is all possible because time can be bent, shaped, and even collapsed. Even people think of time, average people think of time as being linear, where it's where you start in the present, you move into the future, and you leave the past behind you. But what if time isn't linear at all? Mystical Masonic knowledge knows that time is flexible and it responds to the energy you bring to it. Here's how it works in the quantum field. There's no distinction between past, present, and future. Everything exists in the state of potential, waiting for you to focus your energy on it. When you think of the future, you're not imagining something that might happen. You're creating a blueprint of things that will happen. Master practitioners learn how to collapse time by aligning their energy with the version of the future that they want to experience. They don't wait for the future to come to them. They bring the future into the present. This is where most people get stuck. They live in something that we call a time lag, which is the space between where they are and where they want to be. They focus on the gap, the distance, the things they don't yet have. But this approach only reinforces the gap, makes it bigger. Most master practitioners collapse time by focusing on the version of themselves that already exists in the future. They act now as if the future is already real. And because they're vibrating at that frequency of that future, the universe has no choice but to deliver it. Now, I know what some people might be thinking here, but this isn't about positive thinking or visualization. It's about embodiment. Body that vision, and you'll body that future. Master practitioners embody their future selves in the present moment. They don't just think about having more money, more success, or more freedom. They live as if they already have it. They walk, talk, and make decisions based from the perspective of someone who's already achieved their goals. And because they're vibrating at that frequency, time collapses and the future is pulled into the present. Average people are living in a constant state of waiting. They're waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, the right time to move. and the external validation that tells them it's okay to move forward. But waiting only puts you in a state of inertia. As master practitioners, we know that there is no such thing as the right time, only the time that you create. Something like a master's master builder. Building is another word for creator. And if you want to manifest faster, you have to stop waiting for something to happen and start embodying the reality that you want to live in. The next step in bending time is understanding that action is a bridge from between the present and the future. Master practitioners don't sit around waiting for their desire to manifest. They take aligned action. But here's an important key. They don't take action from a place of lack or desperation. They take action from a place of certainty, knowing that the future that they want is already on its way. Because every action that they take is infused with the energy of their future reality. And that's what speeds up the manifestation process for them. The mistakes that most common people make is that they take action from a place of fear or doubt. This fear or doubt has them constantly trying to force things to happen, which only creates resistance. Master practitioners know that aligned action comes from a place of trust. They trust the universe is working in their favor. Because of this trust, they move through time with ease, bending it to their will like Beckham. The final key to bending reality is understanding your relationship with the universe itself. Most practitioners know that they are not isolated beings trying to force their way through life. They know that they are connected to a much larger, more powerful force. This force, whether you call it the universe, infinite intelligence, God, or something else, it's always working with you, but only if you know how to align with it. The universe operates on a set of principles. And when you align those principles, reality bends in your favor. Master practitioners know that the universe is always communicating. It's constantly sending signals, guiding them to their highest potential. But to receive that guidance, you have to be open for it. Most people are so caught up in their own minds and messes that they created for themselves. In this sense, the frequency that they're currently on traps them and keeps them there. So here's a rhetorical question for you. If there's no one on the frequency, does that frequency exist? Of course not. A frequency needs energy, and electro impulses generated from the human heart provides this energy that a frequency needs to exist. So it traps you, keeping you suspended in a time lag. Listening to the universe can be difficult because the universe communicates through synchronicities, patterns, and gives you intuitive nudges. Master practitioners have developed a heightened sense of sensitivity to these signals. They don't ignore their tuition or write off coincidences as random events. They know that these are ways that the universe uses to guide them towards their desired reality. This has been a lot of information. In closing, we've covered perception, belief, collapsing time, action with certainty, and communicating with the universe. These are all needed ingredients to bending your reality and understanding that this time lag that you can find yourself in, you know, you have to make way up out of that. And the best way to make your way up out of this and to start that new existence, that new life, that new future, that new presence is to come into this understanding, and that change needs to happen. And so when that happens, that's when you bend your reality and collapse the time and everything around you. So with that, I will close this presentation and open the floor for any questions.
Got one, Doc. Uh, when looking at it, right, how can someone who knows this teaching still find themselves stuck in the time lag?
Great question. Learn people can find themselves stuck in this time lag because they can't let things go from their their past, and their present. This could be past accomplishments, family and friends, fear of lack as you move into the future without these things, and just discomfort on the prospects of a new frontier, a new beginning. These are things that would keep someone who is supposed to know stuck in that time lag. The scriptures tells us in I believe Luke 12:15, and he said to them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisted not in the abundance of the things which he possesses. This should cover the things and accomplishments right there. And as far as our family and friends, Matthew 12:46 through 50 says, while he talking about Jesus, so while he walked, yet while he talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand towards his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren, right here. For whosoever shall do the will of the Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So at the end of the day, the scripture tells us that no one is exempt. In Romans 3:10, where it says, as it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one, which essentially means that everyone is a sinner and no one is exempt from sin. And so sin is just another microcosm of the rest of the stuff that's out there. And so I hope that answers your question.
I appreciate that.
Go ahead, Brother Steve.
Does this presentation go in line with the acronym GOD, generator, operator, and destroyer?
Of course, which is an acronym for God. And so in order to be a God, you have to be able to possess those qualities right there. And so it is definitely in line with that. But to be that, again, you have to understand the power that holds, and you have to understand the practice that takes, and the commitment and the dedication. And so I know a lot of people, it's chic and cool to run around calling everyone, hey, what's up, king? Hey, queen, and hey, God. But those words are verbs. Those words are not nouns. You're not a king because you're black, or a queen because you're black, or a God just because you're walking around. Those are action words, and you have to do things worthy of being called king, queen, God, boss. Those are action words. And so, yes, that leads you to generator, operator, destroyer, because those are definitely attributes of a God. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
You mentioned something about mystery Masonic knowledge. Is that something that the Masons teach?
Well, I can't go into detail what the Masonic order teaches or should be teaching. However, I went into a little more detail in a few of my Amazon books, ebooks titled Numerology and Masonry, Freemasonry, unlocking their nasty little secrets, the keys to a G, and the master keys, deeper meaning. These books will enlighten you with a lot of esoteric hidden knowledge that goes back to the pyramids and beyond the pyramids. So as far as what they teach, that I can't neither confirm nor deny. Appreciate that question. Deshaun had his hand up.
Yeah, real quick, can you sum up the process of collapsing time?
Yes, by recognizing the future that you want, embodying that or living in that future today brings that future to your current existence. This is how you collapse time. I hope that helped. I'll take another question. I know someone just messaged on the board, you know, who are these master practitioners that you speak about? Master practitioners are those who attended any type of schooling, teaching, or training that prepares one to, in short, get their life. Michael Douglas's character in the movie, The Game, in that movie, he asked his secretary for his messages, which consisted mostly of invites to events and stuff like that. And when she was calling them out, he kept saying, no, I won't be going to that. So she said that she doesn't know why she has to read them all out, knowing that he's going to reject them anyway. Michael Douglas then stated, when you understand society, it gives you the privilege to avoid it. Most practitioners learn to understand both the society that you can see and the society that you can't, or more appropriately, the tricks and traps that society can present. Therefore, they get the privilege to avoid them. I'll take another question if we still have the time.
Dr. Lee,
Yes, sir.
could you say a little bit more about most people are caught up in their own mind?
Yes, people are caught up in their own minds, and a lot of it goes back to the beliefs, the old beliefs and perceptions that they held. You know, can't let go, can't surrender. You have to be able to surrender to that future that you see. When you look around you, if you take inventory, most people will be able to see who their gods are. You'll be able to see what rules your day. For most of us, it's a full-time job, and that would be a no-no if that full-time job goes against the future you, the future you that you want. And so then you could find yourself wasting time, and so time that you may not have. And so, but and that becomes tricky because people have to pay bills, people have to eat, people have to live. But at the same time, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, it was about trust. And so when you see this future that you want, you have to trust that the universe, that this is going to come, and you bring that into reality by by setting things up that leads towards that. And so this is where this is where when you ask your question, where people are stuck with the messes in their mind, they're stuck with things in their mind, is that they allow these things to overcome them. And a lot of the before become people become master practitioners or get on the road to becoming a master practitioner, we've all done things in our lives that are still hanging over our heads, and we have to deal with these things. And so that's what I mean by the messes that are in your life that prevents you from having a future reality. And so when you stay in that perception of these things that hang around you like gods over you, it keeps you stuck and trapped on in that frequency. And so it's your mind that keeps you there, these with your old perceptions and beliefs that your parents handed down to you, in the church handed to you, in the school handed to you. These perceptions and beliefs are what keeps you suspended at that same frequency. That same frequency. And those things are in your mind. And then the messes that came from, like I said, that came from that same mindset is the same mindset that got you into the messes that you currently trying to unravel and untangle yourself out of. And so knowing this, that should prompt you to a mind change. Update that software. That software needs to be updated. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even update it. I'd get rid of it. I'd get rid of the old Windows 95 and I'd wipe up and install a fresh, clean Windows 20 and just start all over. And it has to be going towards that future that you have and that you have in mind. And you have to be able to live that and breathe that in. Great question, Brother Jackson.
Thank you. And thank you. I really appreciate your answer.
You're
All
welcome.
your answers, Dr. Lee.
You're welcome.
Could we also here say it is distractions?
Yes, sir. Distractions. And see, and that's a beautiful point. Because as I said in the presentation, how does a frequency exist? A frequency exists from the electro impulses from the heart. And you got a bunch of hearts on here, and the frequency feeds off that. And so if everyone increase their frequency, graduate to a new frequency, well, who's left for that frequency? And as I stated earlier in the presentation, that if no one exists on the frequency, can that frequency exist? It cannot. And so in order for the frequency to live and to continue to function and grow, it brings about distractions. And so these distractions come in your way, and by way of the main one is family. Family will deter you from from reaching your goals in some horrific ways, man. And they don't, not that they mean to do that. They don't mean to do that, but I think again, that old perception of, I'll take me for instance, that old perception that I have that, oh, my dad did it this way, so I have to do it that way. Or it's written that this is what you have to do to be a dad, or this is what you have to do, I have to do to be an uncle, or this is what I have to do to at the job to be the best, whatever I can be at my job. And so these are all perceptions that we hold. And so I have to ask myself, these positions that I hold, these people that I'm around, these things that I'm doing for my life, do they align with the future that I want for myself? Because if they don't align with the future that I have for myself, and I'm sorry, I have to drop the package and I have to pick up a new one. It's like we talked about a few weeks ago. If you get a order something from Amazon and the package comes all dented and torn up and the product is defected and not as advertised, what are you going to do? You're going to send it back. Well, when those distractions come your way and those people that present those distractions and in these situations that present those distractions, you have to be prepared to drop the package, send the package back, and you need to get something else and get what you were destined for, what you're aligned to get. And so, and again, no one's exempt from that, distractions included. Well, if there's not any more questions, I will thank you guys for this opportunity today. And that will close out this presentation. I appreciate your platform and I appreciate the opportunity to share. Thank you.